right, folks, I am out here at a buddy's place, and he picked up a 1968 Galaxie 500 XL. You notice the XL has got the headlight covers. Don't know about those original wheels there. It's got the black stripes. It does have the 390, so good looking rig overall. Got some work to do on it, but he was able to get the engine running, but he had a leak out of the accelerator pump. And let me show you this carb. I'll pull it up here. This is the Autolite 4300 that has the vacuum correction. The accelerator pump is leaking right here, so I'm going to drag this thing home and rebuild it, and then we'll get it back out here, get this cleaned up. The engine is currently running, but not running well. And to fix some other things, there's a fuel line clog going to the fuel tank. We're gonna have to drop that and look at the sending unit and all that. But we're gonna get this carb right. So I'll be doing a video on this Autolite 4300. Okay, Autolite 4300. How do I know it is not a 2100? Well, it's a 4-barrel. How do I know it's not a 4100? Well, 4100 is a 4-barrel Autolite. The two quickest ways to tell, first of all, on a 4100, you're going to be squared off and these corners will come down. This is more of an oval shape. That's a dead giveaway that it's a 4300. The other thing is the accelerator pump, which was leaking on this carburetor when they got the engine to run, which is why we pulled it off to rebuild it. On the 2100 2-barrel and the 4100 4-barrel, the accelerator pump is in the front with the diaphragm. So this plunger assembly is a little different. One other thing that I picked up on this, you'll notice that these primary valves are working. They're working. This is pretty crusty in here. These are froze up. We did not know that, so we're gonna have to dig into that. But you've still got the 3 basic assemblies on the carburetor. You got the main body, the air horn, and the throttle body. So we're gonna go ahead and start tearing this down. And it's gonna be a long process. I've never done a 4300. Can't be that difficult, right? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. There's actually a flat blade screw here in the back. It's supposed to be flat blade. I've had the top of this at least loosened. We loosened it on the engine, and we're going to try to pull it off, and it didn't work. Let me get my magnet. So we'll go ahead and let's go ahead and get all these screws out. Well, that's not ready to come out, so we'll keep spinning it. As I messed around with this carburetor a little bit, there's a couple things that I've picked up on already. Okay, that is your flat tip that goes in this back port, and the manual does show this is a flat tip. Didn't say why, but it did. The other thing is, this is either the wrong one for the air cleaner, or it's stripped out, one of the two. We'll have to figure that part out. Let's continue to take out these the rest of these. This one is a Phillips. You've got 2 back here. That are Phillips. We'll go ahead and get all these out. And then you got 2 in the front that are Phillips. And like I said, I've had these out. Took them out nice and easy though. This thing was really crusted up. So, and hey, we're not rebuilding this concourse. We're rebuilding this so it runs and functions. Okay. Let's go ahead and see if we can get these out. Pretty much all these are the same. That one doesn't want to come out. We'll get back to that one. And this one right here does not want to lift out of there. Hope you can see this okay. I'll flip it up here in a second just to make sure. And on this one, there's also, I believe, these two here on the side had to come out. They're short ones. It's pretty obvious where they go. And they're loose because I've cracked this open. Oh, those are the same size. Yep. Okay. That ought to be loose now. Oh, nope. Okay. So there's actually, there were two here we took out. This is where your flat blade was. Hope you can see that. And then there's two here. There's two here, but it looks like there's one right here in the middle as well. And I know it's loose because like I said, I cracked this thing open. So let's see what we got here. Now this is not part of the Chrysler. This is off the Galaxie. This is not, absolutely not part of getting the Chrysler ready for the Hot Rod Power Tour. But you got to help a buddy out, and that's what we're doing here. Looks like there's two more in the front here that we also have to get off. And these are all exactly the same size. The only difference is this one flat tip. And you can tell it was kind of boogered up. It was hard to get out. But we got it out. We took our time. Okay, there we go. Now we're loosened up. Let's get this one out right here that is being a little stubborn. There we go. All right, so we got them all out. They're all the same size. You can see now that main body, the main body of the air horn is now loose. So what we've got to do now, we got to start disconnecting levers and things of that nature to get this thing apart. Let's see what's holding us up. First thing, I've loosened this. This is the fuel filter, which they pumped fuel through it, and you can actually blow through it. You can actually, well, you can see the gasket's totally fried, but you could actually see through it when you hold it up to the sunlight. So there was at least fuel going through it. So now, as we look at this, let me check my angle and make sure we're still in good shape, and we are. Now, the question is, how do we get the air horn off of the main body so we can see inside? I'm gonna go ahead and stop for a minute, get all that figured out, then I'll come right back. Okay, how are we gonna get this apart? So I did a little studying on it. There's a couple things. Well, first of all, this is supposed to be up here. It came off. Okay, this is an air valve dampener, and it moves up and down with the throttle plate there. And it was stuck. It was frozen in there. I'll show you that in a minute. Did a little PB blaster in there, got that loosened up. One of the other key things is this your choke control arm. And your choke control arms, you have this cheap little clip up here, which I'll probably replace, but down where it connects down here, it's got a little C-clamp, which was going to be a bear to get back on. But anyway, so we got that disconnected down here, okay, and it's also connected here. This is just compression. You can very easily get that unhooked right there, no problem. So we're good there. And I believe that was about it. And I haven't had this off, so you're going to get to see inside of this for the first time, just like me. Okay, we're going to totally take it off, and there you go. You know what? I was going to say I've seen worse, but I don't know that I've seen worse. There's not a lot of crud in here, and I hope you can see that okay. There's not a lot of crud in there, but it's just been sitting a long time. You've got some rust on the throttle plates, the primary. We know the secondaries are froze up. These are neoprene floats. Don't know. I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure in '68 these would have been. What'd they make them out of? It wasn't copper. Was it bronze? I don't remember, but these, we'll have to make sure that these indeed float, okay? And then here's your accelerator pump. This is what was leaking here. I'm thinking this has been rebuilt sometime in the past because this looks like it's in pretty good shape. It was still leaking. It needs to be cleaned up. And these are neoprene right here. And here is your air valve dampener. You can see this little, well, it done fell. This little round piece here clips on there so it doesn't fall all the way down through. But what it looks like, let me get it out of here. It's like a little piston. That thing was stuck down in here, okay? Which you can just hear it. It needs to be cleaned up in there. So that for sure needs to be cleaned up. Now let's look here at the top. See these gaskets? This gasket doesn't look like it's in really bad shape. So I just really think this has been rebuilt before. So before I start tearing stuff apart, see, you can just feel resistance there on that plunger. So before we just start tearing into this, I want to do, on the main body here, I want to go ahead and separate the main body from the throttle plate, if I can do it easily, so I can soak those in gas. I want the choke to come off. I'll look at that real quick. And then these, wow, look at those jets. These it's just horrible in here. We got to get this, I'm going to have to soak this in gas and really get it cleaned up. And we'll take a look at it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I'm doing this right. I want to go ahead and take off the choke here. This is a manual choke, and you can see this right here. This line went down to the exhaust manifold. That's where it got the heat from, and it did that coil in there that would open. Well, it's disconnected now, but it would open. That rod would come up, and it would open or close your plate there. So okay, let me do a little research on this. I'll be right back. Okay, remember folks, ain't nobody sponsoring me except me and my checkbook, but PB Blaster's your friend, no doubt about it. Okay, couple quick things. The primary jets in here, I'm going to go ahead and take these things. I sprayed them with some PB Blaster, and I'm not saying that's what did it, but these are probably the loosest. They were tight, but they weren't super tight. These are probably the loosest primary jets that I've ever done. And you know what? I'm not about to even try to see what number these are right here, but we might be able to see something there. I have to get a magnifying glass. I'm going to take those out. And then this, I forget what this is, an accelerator here. It feels kind of crusty, but it's working. I want to go ahead and get that out, but let's get this other jet out real quick like. Anyway, I don't have the tool for the jets. I probably need to get it. And here's the other jet. But this big, thick screwdriver I have right here, don't try to use some little flimsy, skinny one. You got to get meat in there and get in there. Works rather well. Now, there is I believe this is an accelerator check ball. You can see it down in there. There's a retaining spring in there that I have to get out. And I'm going to go ahead and take that out. Well, nope. Let me back up. Let me check on the name of that. That is power valve. That is a power valve. This is a power valve right here. And once again, I could probably don't even need the ratchet. I put a 3/8 on there and loosened it up and it just came right out. There was no problems there. So let's take a quick look at this. Once again, it's crusty. I don't know if that comes in the kit. We'll look at the kit. There should only be one check ball in here, and it's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and see what we got to do to get that out. I know it's hard for you to see because it's hard for me to see. And it looks like it's just a little spring down in there. We'll get it out and I'll show it to you. Of course, I make that sound easy. Oh, I see. I see. We're going to have to do it that way. Boy, I make it sound easy, don't I?
I need to pull up on that. I'll have to show it to you when I get it out. Otherwise, it's not going to make any sense. That's crazy. There we go. Got it. Got it. Let me get my needle nose. You know, I used to have a good pair of small needle nose, and over the years I've lost them. Okay, so here's your retainer for that check ball down there. The outer ridge of this, kind of like, you know, I don't know what you call the C-clamps that go inside, like on a U-joint or something like that. That goes into a ridge down there and holds that in there. So we're going to put that in here, and there's our check ball. Those are the things I always forget about and always lose, but we got it. So we're good there. Think that's about it on the body here. I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and take off this thermostat here and see what we got. See what we got here. You know, I looked at the manual. I've got the shop manual on the. Oh, that's tight. That's tight. Don't want to strip it out. Tell you what, well, I really can't hit that with a PB Blaster. We're just going to have to take it easy on it. There we go. We'll get these cleaned up and they'll go in a heck of a lot easier. Things with these screws and bolts and, oh baby, that thing just broke off. Look at there. Well, just one issue after another. And I don't think I can really hit it with any PB Blaster, so I'm going to have to tap that out. So I wonder, is this one actually turning? Or am I just, it's turning. So I think we're okay there. Hope you can see this okay. I'm not a great cinematographer. I'm trying to get better. Okay, so that one came out. So that one, this one is broke. That's going to be fun. Let's see. I haven't touched this one. Let's see this one. You know, one thing I probably, well, that's coming out easy. One thing I should have done is just soak this whole thing in PB Blaster. Okay. We'll have to backtrack and fix that. So let's take a look at this. Okay, there we go. That's nice and crusty. The coil looks good in there. Looks really good, no problems there. But, what's this little piece here? There's supposed to be a gasket in here. Anyway, so there you go. That's going to control that right there. So, pretty nasty in there. The whole thing's nasty. Oh, looky there. I can probably get that out. I'm going to hit that with some PB Blaster and see if I can get some, you know, pair of vice grips on that and get that out. So, I think we're going to go ahead, we're going to take out these idle screws for sure. And one of the fun things, you can already see, let me make sure my camera's still seeing this okay, because I really want you to see this. Yep, very good. You know, for stock, you're probably a turn and a half, full turn and a half out. You can see this one's way out and this one's way in. Let's go ahead and see where we're at with this. So there is, that thing's froze up. Woo! I'm not even going to try to take it all the way in. I'm just going to pray that. I was watching Sleeper Dude the other night. They were working on, I think it was a New Yorker. And he pulled the carb. It was early 70s it looked like. But he was trying to do this. That sucker broke off in there. When not a whole lot you can do. You're going to have to tap, you're going to have to extract it. So you can see these are pretty nasty. They need to be cleaned up. Okay. Now this one here. I'm not going to try to take it all the way in and out because it's so nasty. I just absolutely do not want to risk breaking it. That is in the way. I don't like that. So let's try another screwdriver here. That fits a little better. There we go. I guarantee this thing was out probably 3.5 turns. Okay, there we go. So we got those out, the idle mixer screws. These primaries are working, secondaries are froze up. I'm going to go ahead and let this soak. And I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I know, I'm gonna go ahead and soak this overnight before I think about separating the throttle body from the main, or the throttle body from the main body. I want to get this cleaned up a little bit. So we're going to set this to the side. Don't know where that gasket came from, the thermostat. We know what that is. All that'll clean up. No problem there. So that we've got enough stuff undone here where I can put this, I'm going to put this in something. There's the gasket, right? That's the gasket for the, not the thermostat, the choke, okay? All right. So I'm going to go ahead and get this into something and soak it in at least gas overnight. That's pretty much broke down as far as I need it right now. So I'm going to set that to the side. Now, let's get back to this. I have never done one of these, so this obviously is our, oh, that's where that gasket material came from I had earlier right here. Right there. Okay, so that's the gasket for the air horn and the main body. So it looks like it's pretty brittle. And I actually don't want to break it up too bad. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we've got a template there. We'll look at, ooh, that's just breaking all over the place. So it is pretty brittle. We'll look at the rebuild kit here in a little bit and see what we got after we get this torn down. So, all right, real quick, I'm going to go check the manual on how we should take the rest of this apart so I don't mess anything up. Get the floats out at least. Get this accelerator pump assembly out, and we'll get this soaking as well. But I'll be back in a few minutes. All right, we're going to get this float out and the accelerator pump. First, we're going to take out the accelerator pump. Now remember, this is a 4300. Had this been a, oh gosh, had notes written on my hand, but I changed gloves. So yeah, but I'm not taking a test. So what do you got? The 2100 2 barrel, the 4100 4 barrel, and this is a 4300. So if this were a 4200, you'd have the accelerator pump on the front, the little square diaphragm. Anyway, this will come off fairly easy. We just compress this and do that. Okay, my battery went dead. I had to go back and check where it shut off. So this accelerator pump, it cut out just as I was showing you how to do it. But basically this comes in and hooks up over the arm. You push it up, you over, disconnect it, and it comes right out. This is just like I did the video on the Chrysler, that BBD 2 barrel, and the difference is this one's rubber and it doesn't look to be in too bad a shape. That one was actually, in the Chrysler, was made out of leather, so you had to soak it in fuel. But anyway, I've got, this is the new piece right here, this rubber piece that comes in the rebuild kit, and we'll be taking this apart later and going over that. So. Now, this, I forget what this was called, an accelerate booster pump, something like that. Anyway, it is like a Schrader valve, and I had to loosen it up with a screwdriver. It's all boogered up and everything, and I have a brand new one right here, and it's the same. So we'll be replacing that. This one was a little more difficult. Now, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, and I don't have that tool, so I took this, and what I did is put this on here and I moved it like that, so it's loose and it will come out. This is your inlet valve housing. It's got a gasket on it. Once again, I have a new one. They look to be very close, so I should be good there. And we've also got, I think I've already picked it up and moved it. We've got the new inlet valve, which is gravity fed. This goes down in here. When the float goes down, this comes down and lets fuel come in. Okay, that's all that does. This
I don't see how I could do anything with that. It's a little crusty. I'm going to soak it, see how it does. The only other thing that I talked about before was this piece here. I took off this holder right here, right there. And as far as how that, I really don't want to booger it up. I'm just going to give it a little twist here and see if, there we go. Looks like, oh, that's your spring for your primary. That's your, is it? No. Yes. What the heck is that? Anyway, I don't even see what controls it. It's got to be this other lever. Oh, it's this lever right here. That gives you your resistance right there. So I'm going to go ahead and leave this off because it's plastic. I don't want the gasoline to eat it up. Everything in there is metal. So I'm okay with that. And this, you can see, if you look inside of here, there is a little slot where it looks like you have to make sure that this piece here goes in that. That provides your spring to that. So we'll have to be making sure that's correct when we get it put back together. So as far as the, let's see, we've got the main body, the throttle body, the air horn. I think that's all that we're going to tear down. Everything else, there's a couple rubber things in here, but I'm not too worried about those. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna soak this in gasoline. We're gonna soak all this in gasoline overnight. I could take, 10 cans of $8 brake cleaner and try to clean it up. I'm gonna soak it in gas overnight just so we can get the basic crud off it. And that's where I'm gonna stop tonight. And I'll set this down on here. Anyway, I'll get to, there you go. So I'm gonna get all this soaked in gasoline, let it soak overnight, and then we'll come back to cleaning up all these little parts that need to be cleaned up. We've got to check and make sure the floats float. Don't like neoprene, but that's what they've got, and it doesn't come with the rebuild kit. We'll get everything cleaned up, we'll blow everything out, and then we'll, in reverse, just kind of get all this going. Oh, the other thing, the secondaries are indeed froze up. The thing is, I don't know if the assemblies are froze up on the ends, which I doubt it very seriously, or it's in the shaft, or if it's just all the crust here that's around these throttle plates. So I'm not going to try to force it. I'm going to soak it overnight. Then I'll take off the this portion of the carburetor, the throttle body, and may not, if I can get to work good, I may not even take that apart. But then again, I really want to, because I want to replace the gasket that's between the throttle body and the main body. So, okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Hey folks, just a little update on this 4300 we're rebuilding. Got a pretty major issue that I'm working with here. These are the throttles. These are the primary. These are the secondary. This is absolutely froze up. I let this soak overnight, actually for 2 nights, in some fuel. Then I put PB Blaster on it. I've put heat on it. I've got it. I believe we're a little loose through this one because I can put pliers on this and tweak, and this one I can see jiggling. So I'm still froze up somewhere in here. As far as taking out the plates, really not an option because these are the type that go through. So the only way to get those out is, these are the primaries, is to take the screws out, and then those slide out of that slot. Obviously I can't do that until I get this loose. So definitely working on this. This is kind of a showstopper until I just quit the whole cleaning process. Until I get this fixed, nothing else is going to happen. Also, you can see the main throttle linkage here. If you see it here, it's bent. And that's probably a pretty good indicator that this thing was froze up, and somebody at some point, don't know who, doesn't matter who at this point, but you see how this is bent this way. I'm going to have to get that all bent together. So what happened
pull back, then the secondaries wouldn't open, kept forcing it. Actually, you would be pushing, but anyway, kept forcing it, and it probably bent this, which maybe wasn't a bad thing because that can be bent back. And anyway, I'm gonna get some more heat on this and just keep working with it and see what I can do. I'll keep you updated. Thanks. Another thing on this this carburetor, you know, we've identified that the secondary throttle is stuck. You can see that the actual throttle where it connects is bent. Pretty clear indicator that the primary is opened. I've got the throttle linkage disconnected here for the secondaries, but as somebody opened the primary, and it was just forced over time. Who knows how, you know, this car's been sitting for a long time. Anyway, probably a good thing that bent and nothing down here broke. So I'm going to continue to work on this and try to get all this unfrozen. Okay, thanks. Okay, good news. I was able to let's see, I was able to get this, a lot of heat, still hot, a lot of heat, just back and forth with the throttle plates in there. I was able, amazingly, all 4 screws, I just was real gentle, cleaned them before I backed them out, and just backed them in and out, in and out, in and out. Nothing broke there. I've got this loosened up. A lot of rust in here, so I'm going to take this shaft out and get it cleaned up, get that back together, and when I'm comfortable that that is working properly, then I'll continue cleaning the rest of the carb. We'll start rebuilding it. Probably the night for me. Y'all have a good day. Thanks. Okay, I think we have success. This looks like an absolute mess. I know that. We got to get it cleaned up, but I was able to get this broke free. Like I said, with a lot of heat and PB Blaster, I got it out. I got the shaft cleaned up. I got everything on the inside of the shaft. Took some emery cloth and got that cleaned out. So I think that this is going to work beautifully. So I'm going to go ahead and move forward with keeping this out because I don't want to muck anything up. And we're going to go ahead and move forward with getting everything cleaned up. So when I get everything cleaned up, get back with you and we'll start reassembling this.